child out of wedlock would be? Well, viewers, this is the topic we'll be dissecting today on community life. And when I mean we, I mean your humble host, Ella Larissa and
Mofo Frida,
who will be giving us the consequences of having a child out of wedlock.
Thank you very much, Larissa. Having a child out of wedlock means two people having children or a child without being married, like without the consent of the family. And for the consequences, I'll begin with the negative impact on the child. For the child is going to face some emotional and psychological trauma both in school and maybe at home. In school, the child will feel bad. Maybe why at school, the child will get the friends talk about how the family is, the love that they share, and maybe in the child's house is not the same. That's not the same love the child experienced. Maybe probably because of the separation of the both parents. And then while at home, the child will also go through some trauma because the child, while at home, the child, you see, maybe the child now live with a stepmother or somebody the father has probably gotten married to, and the child feels like the love is not there because maybe that's not her mother or the father. So that's just it.
So you mean these consequences when the parents end up not getting married after having a child out of wedlock? Well, thank you very much. I get it now. That means it affects the child psychologically in the environment where he or she finds himself and so on. Well, viewers, we are on the topic, the consequences of having a child out of wedlock. And as it is a routine, we got to the community to know their point of view on this topic.
Consequences of having a child out of wedlock. First of all, when young ladies find themselves in this kind of situation of pregnancy and they go and do away with it, I have about 2 cases in my family where that was all about the family, the child. They have gotten married, they are not happy in their marital homes because there is no sort of the womb forthcoming again. When we have the child out of wedlock and tomorrow you get married, it is very, very difficult to stabilize your matrimony because sometimes this child who is looking at this man as not being the biological father may start bringing up problems in the house. Those things are certain.
Anxiety is one of the things that prompts people into having children. Maybe competition, you want to be like other people. But now in the society of today, it's proving that having a child before marriage accelerates the marriage faster than maybe having a child while you are married and then now you decide to break up with a person. Because from my own experience and from what I've seen, most people who have children before marriage, sometimes there is that push from both families that no, this child cannot remain like this. The only disadvantage can be when you have the child and maybe there's irresponsibility from the father. That's when the child now, most of the responsibility will be pushed now to the girl's parents. And if it happens that they are not viable, that's when the child now will be vulnerable to sickness and other things, attacks.
Welcome back, viewers. As we earlier heard from our contributors, Frida, one person mentioned that it also has positive consequences. That is, having a child out of wedlock pushes both parties to get married. What do you think about this?
Well, that's right, because as a person, the two families are able to unite together. When they have gotten involved and now they have a child, the two families will decide that it is best for them to unite the two children together so that the family, some people say the family image should not be tarnished. It's best for them to come together so that they can bring up that child in a good way.
Yeah, so it's better to bring up the child in a united home than a divided home. That's when parents are apart.
Again, I would say that as negative consequences on the woman is that for that woman or that girl, maybe probably since she might not end up getting married to that dream man, like young girls to say, I have someone, or there's a certain quality that I want to see in a man before I get married to. Maybe because of this, she might not end up getting married to that man which she had dreamt about. And again, normally now in our society, you hear some men who do not want to take the responsibility of a child.
That's not theirs.
Yeah, that's not theirs. And for the father, maybe the father because the child has come into the family, that means the child may not feel the love because maybe that is not the father or the mother. So for the father to be able to like solve this situation, the father might think that it is best at returning the child back to the mother so that they can be together or can live happily.
So you mean that the reason why people tend to get married instead is because of the consequences that might follow if they separate?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Frida. Viewers, we were on the topic, the consequences of having a child out of wedlock. And thank you very much for staying tuned and see you some other time. I have been your humble host, Ella Larissa. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.